I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.
Hello, nature nuts. We got a beautiful day happening on the prairie here. It's a bit windy. I'm waiting for the wind to die down and I'm brushing up on my scarab beetle knowledge. The Scarab Beetles of Nebraska. This book was written by Brett Ratcliffe, and we're not in Nebraska right now, we're in Saskatchewan, but this is the only guide to the scarab beetles of any province or state in North America, so that's the one I'm reading. Scarab beetles are great, you're gonna love them. They have very interesting antennae. Their antennae are shaped like a little book themselves. I'll show you a picture here, great pictures in this book. There we go. There's a 10-line June beetle flying through the night, spreading the pages of its book-like antennae. And of course, we make books so we can put more information into them. They have book-like antennae so they can get more information out of their surroundings. It increases the surface area for smelling, and that's what they use their antennae for. I can hardly wait. We've got not only Brett Ratcliffe's book with us, we've also got Dr. Ratcliffe himself and his colleague Mary Liz Jameson. We're talking about two of the top scarab beetle experts in the world today. How can we possibly go wrong? Windy place, the Saskatchewan. Really windy.
The biggest scarab beetles are as big as many birds and mammals, while the smallest are tough to see with the naked eye.
So a nice hot day in the Badlands, isn't it?
It's a very nice hot day.
It's a good hot day. So what do you think? I mean, I've never understood why the ancient Egyptians were quite so interested in scarab beetles. I mean, I like scarabs, but they were really, really into scarabs.
Well, John, when they saw these things about 3,000 years ago emerging from the sand in the desert, they were quite startled by that and likened that to spontaneous generation of life from nothing. And so that was quite magical to them. And then when they saw the different parts of the body on these scarabs, that had symbolism to them. So the rays on the front of the head sort of symbolized the rays of the sun. And then they saw this beetle pushing this little ball of poop across the desert. They likened that to the sun god Ra, symbolized by the scarab, shepherding the sun, which would be the little ball of poop, across the daily journey across the sky.
That's a beautiful image, that the sun going across the sky is like a dung beetle rolling a ball of poop. That's really nice. Is this an authentic artifact?
No, this is a cast of a heart scarab. And a heart scarab was a scarab that was formed to replace the heart in a mummy, because the heart would be truthful to the gatekeeper of heaven and reveal things about the owner that the owner might not like to have revealed.
Oh yeah, you don't want that.
So consequently, they placed heart scarabs in place of the heart, which had hieroglyphics on the back, which were telling good things about the owner. And so in many cases, these heart scarabs were in lieu of the heart in the mummy.
So you have in your resume with
Miniature resume right
very
there.
nice. Very nice.
And these things became so popular, they took on a cult of their own because they were made into all kinds of artifacts for good luck charms and amulets, and people wore them everywhere. It spread all across Mediterranean, Europe, and North Africa. So we had lots of people wearing scarabs as bracelets and necklaces as good luck charms to bring them good luck through life. Often they had small hieroglyphics on the back saying good fortune, good luck, health be with you, things of this nature.
Very nice. What about this this semi-translucent one here?
This is actually a scarab bar of soap. I suppose cleanliness is next to godliness.
There you go. A scarab bar of soap. Why not?
Sort of cleans things up, doesn't it?
It does.
know, further south, and especially in the tropics, scarab beetles are renowned for the fact that many of them have huge horns on their heads and on their thoraxes, especially the males. They're also renowned for the fact that there are some really big beetles. This is the larva of a scarab beetle from South America, and that's going to turn into one honkin' big beetle. I have some museum specimens to show you here. That wind hasn't calmed down very much either. Now have a look at that. Isn't this impressive? Here's an atlas beetle from Asia. It's one of the rhinoceros beetles. There's another species of rhinoceros beetle from Africa. Those are both males, different shapes of horns, but very impressive horns. And here we've got two flower chafers from Africa. And here's the male with tremendous horns on its head, and the female who just has a sort of a scoop face and no horns at all. Well, it was a great mystery for many, many years why these beetles have their horns, but it turns out it's actually a pretty common sense thing. They have horns for the same reason that other animals have horns. Let's just say these were two males of the same species. There's a female over here someplace, and they're having a little bit of a battle for the pleasure of her company. And they start sparring a bit, trying to move into position. Finally, usually the larger male gets his horns underneath the smaller one and just pitches him right out of the arena. Then he goes over to see what the female's doing, and more often than not, there's a third male that's been sneaking in when they are busy with the fighting. Pretty typical. That's what the horns are there for. Rhinoceros beetles. Boy, I wish we had them here.
In northern North America, dry grassy places are better for scarabs than moist forested ones.
So I really want to show you a tumble bug. It's a scarab beetle that makes itself a ball of cow poop, rolls it across the prairie and buries it in the ground, either to eat it or to feed it to its grubs. Our research has shown that there are only a few places in Canada where you can find these tumblebugs, and this is one of them. It's the Vortec. But there are no cows at the Vortec today, so there are no fresh cow pies, and so there's not going to be any tumblebugs. Our scarab beetle expert team, they've given up looking for tumblebugs, and instead they're looking for euphoria. There's a scarab beetle called euphoria. Who knows, maybe we'll find euphoria here. Let's have a look. Okay, well, we're in the Great Sand Hills of Saskatchewan, and our team has been looking for cow pies in sandy places so that we can find some dung beetles. Now, you might think that living in a pile of dung would be kind of a difficult thing to do, but actually, when a cow leaves some manure like this, there's a lot of nutrition still left in it, and a lot of nutrition that the beetles can get out of it. There are three basic styles of dung beetle lives, and I've got three beetles in the vial here representing each of those different styles. I'll start with this one. This little red and black one is a very handsome beetle. That's an aphodius, and the aphodius, it will find the cow pie by smelling with its antennae, flying along, and then they just dig right into the manure, and they live there. They eat the dung, they lay their eggs in the dung, and their larvae develop in the dung as well. But of course there are other things in the dung. There are maggots, there are other sorts of beetles, and there's a lot of competition for this rich resource. So some of them, like these ones here, let me just pull out the Onthophagus. The Onthophagus, and there's our Onthophagus there. These ones will dig a tunnel down below the cow pie, right into the sand. They'll take dung down into the tunnel. They form little dung pellets at the end of their tunnel, and in each pellet they lay an egg, and then the larva will grow up in the pellet, far from any competition, any trouble above. But there's a third style, and These are the ones we were looking for at the Vortex, and we couldn't find them, but Brett and Mary Liz did find one of the dung rollers, the tumble bugs, and they're, oh, pardon me, I'll get this ontophagus out of the way. This is the tumble bug, or the canthon, we call it in the technical parlance. These ones roll a piece of dung into a ball, roll it away, and bury it far from any of their competitors. Isn't that neat? So there you have it, the 3 different styles of dung beetle life represented by 3 dung beetles from the great sandhills of Saskatchewan. So now it's time to look for scarab beetles that are not dung beetles, and only about 1/5 of the scarab beetles are actually dung beetles. The other ones, they're more clean living, they do other things. My friend Mary Liz Jameson, she studies these very sorts of scarab beetles, and she and I have set up a black light trap where the scarabs are attracted at night to the black light, the glow of the light. They bang into the light, they fall into a funnel and into a jar. I told her not to open the jar until I got there, so I'm very keen. I'm wondering what we got last night. Let's have a look. Okay, well, thanks for waiting.
Ooh, John, we've got some good stuff here.
Looks like a lot of moths. Let's take the jar off and have a look here.
Got a good habitat to bring in a lot of different things.
Here, I'll hold it.
Okay.
Oh man, there's moths in there.
Woo, look at
You
them.
always get
A
moths.
lot of water beetles and water insects.
You see any scarabs?
Absolutely. Covered in moths.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You want me to hold your forceps for you?
You better believe
Thank
it.
you.
There he is. He's a little dirty. This is Phalafica. A May or June beetle. The leaf eater. That's what he is. A little brown beetle. And as a larva, it's going to be feeding on the roots of grasses or other things like that. And as an adult, it'll feed on leaves, as its name suggests.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right.
What else do we have?
Oh, there's another one there. It's a here, I'll let you. Is that Contagious?
Ooh, Contagious.
Contagious. No 2 scarab people apparently pronounce the words the same. Contagious, Phalafica, Philophaga.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Exactly.
More. Oh, there he is. Small beetle, but very nice.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He's moving.
it's actually an even nicer shade of brown, isn't it?
Slightly fuzz covered.
What can you tell me about Contagious?
Well, Contagious is in a different subfamily, Ochidiinae. A little sand-loving beetle. The adults are found in sandy areas. And the larvae are probably feeding on roots. And if you look at him, you can see that his mandibles project beyond his clypeus, or his beetle lips. That's a nice little beetle, though. You don't find them overly commonly.
Oh, and look in here. Look in there, underneath all those moths. There's the big one.
Ooh,
we got the big one. We got the
treasure.
That's great.
The Christmas
That's
present.
great.
Yeah, now this is a respectable scarab. This is Canada's largest scarab. Look at that. This is Polyphila decimlineata. Nice. This is a male. You can tell he's got these enlarged antennae. And the female would have smaller antennae. It's got these wonderful 10 lines on its back, as the name implies.
That's a very handsome beetle.
Very handsome.
Right on. Right, and big eyes too.
Yes, yes.
Well, let's have a look at what else we've got. This
Yeah.
is just, we're doing really
Let's
well
go
here.
see.
That's good.
Oh yeah. Let's see what we have there.
Oh, man.
And tiger moths and cryptids and scarabs.
Oh, there's columbides here.
Woo, baby!
One of the great pioneers of dung beetle studies was Jean-Henri Fabre, who lived in the south of France.
Hey, my little friend. What are you doing in there? The same thing as always.
You know, I have been watching these beetles for many years, every little bit of their manure-eating lives. I have seen it, and I am very proud of this. I even write a book about it, The Sacred Beetle and Others. It's a pretty good book. But before I write the book, I think to myself, I cannot write this book. These beetles, they are so fascinating, but they eat that stuff there. Dung, poop, manure, feces. This is not something you can write about. Nobody write about this. It is too filthy. But then I think to myself, no, they are fascinating, and I can use the language of the bakery to make it sound more pleasant. Let me give you an example. I read to you from my book, the chapter about the culprits. These are the culprits. First I say, I serve up the national dish, the superlative loaf furnished by my neighbor's cow. Superlative loaf. Pretty good. They form a dish worthy of the wedding, a cake as broad as one's hand, of no great thickness, and varying in outline. These minor details represent the pastry cook, his fancies. The essential and constant fact is this: in the 6 bakeries of my insect house, the sexes are always present beside the lump of paste, which after being kneaded is now fermenting and maturing. It almost makes you want to become a dung beetle yourself, don't you think?
Rollin', rollin', roll the dung balls round. Roll 'em across the prairie, hide 'em in the ground. Roll 'em in the summertime, but never spring or fall. Roll 'em till them cow pies are buried one and all. Oh, diggin', 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 living in a pile of poop. Legs like little shovels, and a face like an ice cream scoop. Diggin', 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 down neath the old cow pie. Grow your grubs in stinky tubs, not too wet or too dry. Out across the desert, along the river Nile, emerging from the very ground the camels had defiled. Roll it past the pyramids and bury it by the Sphinx, acting like the sun god Ra, or so some people thinks. Searching, searching, searching across the south of France, past old Jean-Henri Fabre in his beetle watching trance. Mysteries unfolded on that sultry bygone day. He looked into his beetle cage and he swore he heard them say,
"Yeah, it's a pile of poop, but it's my pile of poop. And I'm making it a better pile of poop so that this world will be a better place to live. For you, for me, for everyone."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Searching, digging, rolling, squalor is your biz. So says Dr. Ratcliffe and his assistant Mary Liz. Filth is soon forgotten, foul matter matters not. Your life is so amazing that you'll never be forgot. Oh, rollin', 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 roll those dung balls round. Roll 'em across the prairie and hide 'em in the ground. Roll 'em in the summertime, but never spring or fall. Roll 'em till them cow pies are buried one and all. Yeah, roll 'em in the summertime, but never the spring or fall. Roll them till them cow pies are buried one and all.
I'm just getting the biggest kick out of this polyphila, and especially the fact that it's making these little sounds, a stridulation.
Stridulation. He's
Here,
talking?
it's for you.
No.
Now, which part of the body are they using?
Well,
to
they're
make the sound?
rubbing their elytra, their wing covers, against some little tiny grooves that are on his butt.
On his butt.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Well, that's nice and obvious.
Yeah.
Ah,
And many
ask an
scarabs.
expert and get a good answer. That's good. Lovely.
Very good. There's other scarabs that do it too. This copris or dung beetle that we brought with us from Nebraska also does it. In much the same manner that polyphila does it, and many other scarabs and beetles themselves do it.
Oh, yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slightly different sound, though. Here, hold on a sec. Okay, close your eyes. Which one's which?
Stereo sound. Stereo stridulation.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that- And why do they do it?
There are some scarabs that use stridulation in order to communicate with their larvae, but they have parental care. Since neither of these have parental care, I believe it's mostly for defense.
So just to startle the predator into dropping them? How about that? Well, they certainly do it when you
Pick them up.
pick them up. It says, "Let me go." That's
The code.
the code. Very interesting.
Very nice.
A few scarab beetles are pests of crops, but most of them are of no consequence to us other than being beautiful and nifty.
Mary Liz Jameson brought me this box of cereal. It's called Nature Nuttiest Dung Puffs. Contains 100% of your larva's daily requirements.
A lot of work went into that. Anyway, that's all the time we've got for scarab beetles, but I think we had a really successful expedition. We found 7 different sorts of scarabs. I hope you'll get a chance to get out and look for scarab beetles yourself. The only thing I want to remind you, after you've finished looking for those dung beetles, wash your hands. Oh, I'm just too curious. I have to have a look in here. Hey, that looks quite authentic. Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad. Somebody's definitely pulling my leg, I think.
Until next time, I'm a nature nut. I hope you are too. See you again. Dung puffs. Dung puff. What is that flavor?
Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.